do here is go back.
Today's video is sponsored by Dubby Jitterless Energy Blend, formulated to give you the focus and energy with no jitters or crash. Their formula contains vitamins, amino acids, and nootropics, including the patented Neurofactor, with more than 10 different flavors to enjoy and start your day strong. Are you ready to try Dubby? Visit dubby.gg today and use promo code ARROWWAN to save 10% on your purchase today. And welcome everybody. How y'all doing today? It is Friday the 13th. Holy shit. Yes, it is that day. It's in September. Summer is almost over with. Summer only has about another week left. How y'all doing out there? Yes, I got a touch of the sniffles this morning. It's that time of the season where it's time to catch a cold again. Wouldn't you say? You know, the cold's coming in, the cold front, the different diseases. Diseases. Is that even a word? You know what? Let's make that a word. Diseases. Because you get all kinds of diseases during the seasons, you know? That's got to be a new word right there. Diseases. So how y'all doing? I gotta say, we are now live on TikTok. Yes, the TikTok is still up. If you guys have yet to do so, hop on over there and follow us on TikTok. Yes. So, to those of you who are watching us live on TikTok, I am live streaming to 4 different platforms right now. That's right. You guys are hearing us on TikTok, YouTube, Kick, and Twitch. If you guys want to follow any of the channels, links are all down below. However, on TikTok, I'll have to figure out a way of getting some links out there to you guys. But our YouTube channel is Arrow Entertainment. If you want to follow us over there, if you want to follow us on Twitch, if you are on Twitch and you enjoy game streams and such, you can follow our Twitch, twitch.tv/ArrowENT. Also got links down below in those channels for merch store. Yes, we got 2 merch stores running right now if you want to buy any merchandise. And also, as you heard at the beginning of the stream, We are sponsored by W Energy Blend. If you guys wish to purchase any products from them, if you want to try out any of their products, hop on over to w.gg today and use promo code ARROW, WAN. You guys will save 10% on your purchase today. So here we are. It is Friday the 13th, and you're probably wondering, what is it with today's topic, today's stream topic? Dangers of the internet. Or is the internet dangerous to society? That could mean a lot of different things. It could mean things like, you know, the dangers of cyber terrorism, hacking, all that good stuff, DDoS attacks, you know, all that shit. But I know that can be part of the topic. I may cover it, but there's other things that I can cover along that topic, and you guys probably wouldn't even know about it. It's like a curveball out of right field, you know? Another thing I like to say before we get into today's topic, I would love to thank all of our new followers and all our new subscribers over on YouTube and on Twitch. You guys check out our content. You guys love our content. Even our new followers over on TikTok. Much love. Thank you for support on all these platforms. I have been doing these shows. I've been doing this podcast for years. I've been streaming games for years. I've been doing video content for years. If you guys want to see all that content, it's on our YouTube channel. It is also on our Twitch channel, which I'm trying to get some playlists put together for our content over on Twitch. And also I'm trying to upload some of the content over here on TikTok. Now, TikTok is very anal when it comes to what you can upload, what you can stream, what you can say, what you can do. It's very liberal. And I know a lot of people are so worrisome over the fact of, what if the government bans TikTok because it is a Chinese-based app? And I've said it before, it's like, why is people so worried about being censored? About a platform being taken away from them when the platform censors them anyway? Like, why should you have to come up with new words and terms to say on this platform just so you can tiptoe around the easily offended people, you know, the LGBTs, the SJWs, and all of them? Now, if you're new to the show, if you're new to the podcast over on TikTok, I want you guys to know I do not give a fuck about feelings. I don't give a fuck about feelings. This stream, this podcast is NSFW. If you guys are into that stuff, let me tell you something. If you're somebody who uses pronouns, I don't give a fuck. Take that shit and shove it up your ass. If you encourage or support the LGBT terroristic movement, you can shove that up your ass too. Now, if anybody wants to call me homophobic, that's your fucking opinion. I don't give a shit. I do support gay people. I have nothing against gay people, men or women. Nothing against them. I support them. The LTGB, whatever the fuck you want to call them. I almost think it's just like an open door to pedophilia. That's how I feel about the LGBT community. I feel it's just an open door to pedophilia. It's a group of terroristic idiots that want to groom and mutilate our children for their agenda. And that's how it seems to be. That's how it seems to be going. I mean, you got many gay people out there. What's going on? Oh, wait, I personally say yes and no. But you know what? There are a lot of gay people out there that don't even support the LGBT. And they know that there's some dangers to it. And I'm glad to see that there are some people out there that are homosexual and that do have a good head on straight, you know, they got a good straight head on their body, or however you put that whole terminology and all. But you know, it is good to see that there are gay people out there that they're fully waking up. They know when to call the bullshit. You know, that's why I openly say, you know, fuck LGBT. And the whole trans movement, let me tell you all something, okay? And I'm pretty sure TikTok would probably be like, oh, you can't say that. Yeah, I've always said fuck TikTok. Just like I've always said fuck the other platforms if they decide to want to fucking silence me, you know? Look, the whole trans movement, it's mental illness. I've said it before on the shows. I will continue to say it. The whole trans bullshit is mental illness. Severe mental illness. Once again, I don't give a fuck about feelings. They don't like it, hey, turn the show off and go suck somebody's dick, you know? That's all I gotta say about that. But yeah, so to those of you that are watching this live right now on TikTok, yes, this is a new breed of podcast. This is a new breed of show. If you guys enjoy this, hit that follow button if you're on TikTok. Show some support right there. And like I said, thanks to all the new supporters, all the new followers and subscribers on our YouTube channel and on the Twitch channel. YouTube, we are strongly approaching 10,000 of you guys who subscribed. And I know you look at the views and you're probably like, where the hell are the 10,000 coming from? Well, there's videos on the channel that have gotten severe views in the last few months. A lot of good views. So there's a lot of random people out there that catch on to what I've been posting on the channel. They've been liking it. They've been loving it. They've been subscribing to it. So I definitely want to say thank you to a lot of you guys who do support the channels, who do subscribe every day, every week, whatever. I hope you guys really enjoy the content. I still got a lot more coming, and we got the Halloween season coming up, so I'm going to try to get some good content out there to you guys. Got a few more places to visit, got a few more things to do. It's going to be a busy season, especially when it comes to streaming, podcasts, video games, and such. So let me cover this portion of the topic for today. Is the internet a danger to society? So, I pulled up this thing, and I want to read off the top things that is dangers of the internet. And they include identity theft, data breaches, malware and viruses, phishing and scam emails, fake websites, online scams, romance scams, cyberbullying, online predators, and sextortion. I feel like that's a newly made up word, sextortion? I don't think I've ever heard of a word, sextortion. But I will say, with a couple of these on here, it does go along with what I'm going to talk about today. Now, identity theft. Let me tell you, identity theft has always been a thing. Always been a thing. Probably around the early days of the internet, or even before the internet. You know, the early days of people with credit cards and stuff like that. You know, people that are pickpocketing your wallets and shit. You know, if you got a social security number tucked in there, or your credit cards or whatever. Look, identity theft has been a big thing since the early 90s, possibly. Let me mute here for a second, guys. Sorry about that. I don't think you guys want to hear me blow my nose. Like I said, I got a cold coming. It's getting bad. So, since the early days, the 80s and 90s, you know, identity theft has always been a thing. And you always seen commercials out there on TV. You always see articles and magazines talking about identity theft crisis. What can you do to prevent it? Well, keep a tighter grip on your wallet. Make sure your information is not all out there. Be careful of where you put your information, or who you give your information to. Especially if you get random phone calls. You know, you always got to be careful with these phone scams. And I know the phone back in the day had nothing to do with internet technology. Well, there was early internet technology there, of course, you know, telemarketers and such. But in the early days of telephones, You know, you had all these scam artists calling you and say, hey, we got a good offer for you. You know, we got good deals on installing bathroom fixtures and new front doors, and maybe you need a new kitchen cabinet or some shit, you know. And all you need to do is give us your credit card information, this and that, if you're interested in a free estimate or whatever. And then sure enough, you know, you got somebody on the other end of that phone line. You don't know who the hell it is. Somebody who's got your credit card information, and then boom, there goes your fucking money. You know, your bank's wiped out, your card's wiped out, your identity's taken. But even in the early days of the internet, you know, it's become an even bigger thing. Has anybody ever seen the movie The Net with Sandra Bullock? I've seen it once, and I do say it was a pretty decent thriller. I've seen it later in life, but I will say it was a decent thriller, you know. But that's the kind of stuff that would happen back in the day. You got people that are able to get a hold of your information, you know, from a wireless connection somewhere, or just typing in a number or whatever, you know. Identity theft it's still a big thing today. It's still a big thing today. And I know a lot of people, they put it off. You know, they either ignore it or they put it off. They don't think it's a big thing, but it truly is. Especially when you got millions of people right now who are using smartphones. Smartphones, another gateway to the internet, another gateway to the dangers of the internet. You got a mini computer in your pocket that you're carrying around. Remember back in the 90s and the early 2000s, you know, Microsoft and IBM and all these computer places were advertising pocket PCs and stuff. You know, take your PC on the go. You can connect it to a 56K modem, you know, somewhere. You can connect to the internet. You can do this. You can do that. Well, you ain't got to worry about all that anymore. You know, you got this bulky ass pocket PC. I was getting ready to say pocket pussy. Well, I mean, that was a thing back in the day. People had pocket pussies. But pocket PC, you had those. You had beepers. You had these little organizer things with the little keyboards on them. You know, there's all kind of different technology. It's amazing how technology has evolved within the last 30 years. Or should I say 34 years at least. You know, back in the 90s, you had cell phones that are fucking bricks with antennas. You know, people were carrying that shit around. Hell, some people were carrying around these big-ass bulk bags that had a phone in it. Remember those? Shit, remember beepers? Who had a beeper? I never had a beeper. I was in elementary school. I'm pretty sure, you know, my parents, hell, they were probably fucking too broke to fucking get a beeper. But then again, why would I need a beeper? Who would need a beeper? You know, all it is just a glorified text messenger back in the 90s. You know, if somebody had a beeper and you beeped them, you just send like a brief message, say, hey, call me. Okay, where's the nearest phone at, you know? You ain't gonna worry about that anymore. Now you got a personal computer / phone in your pocket. And it's basically a fraction of a miniature pocket PC, and it's a cell phone. A cell phone that's only what, I don't know, a 7-inch screen, you know, a diagonal. You know, so a phone that's like maybe 5 or 6 inches long, right? You know, something like that, and it's thin. It's a miniature computer. That's all it is. Now, I knew somebody, I'm not going to bring their name up because I'm done with that person, but that person's always told me a cell phone should just remain as a cell phone. You should not be able to play games on it. You should not have to play games on it. A phone should not be a toy. It should not be a little gizmo to listen to music and da. Well, I'm sorry to say, I can only imagine what life was like when you had to watch VHS tapes. Yeah, dude. I was there. There was some good times, but I tell you, the retro stuff, people are collecting the retro stuff now. You know, they like to go back to the retro stuff. Like today's technology has become more of a convenience for people. It's not a pain in the ass anymore that people would probably think, what's going on, Jimbo, over on TikTok? What is going on there, buddy? But yeah, I will say, like, back in the day, I had VHS tapes. We had cassette tapes. We had compact CDs. You know, we had my dad. Well, we still got same shit, different day. I hear that, man. I even still got, like, in the back room, you know, 45s and 78s records, vinyl records. We still got vinyl records. My dad, at one point, he had a case of 8-track tapes. Now, I recently did a video on my ventures to one of the Goodwills in the area that I live in, and it was the Glen Burnie area. I'm going to post that up sometime within the next week or so. You'll see that on YouTube. You might see it over here on TikTok if they don't flag it for the music. You know how they are. Why you bringing up the childhood? Oh, I tell you, man, that's one thing I love doing, is bringing up childhood. I love talking about past retro stuff and all. But I tell you, but yeah, the Goodwill, I did a video, and I was looking at some stuff there too, and I did buy a VHS tape. I shit you guys not, I did buy a VHS tape because I plan on putting a video together of some old stuff that people today of this new generation don't know what it was like, what we had back then. We're going to try to convert my old personal tapes to DVDs. That's an easy thing to do. I know some people may think it's kind of hard to do that. If you got the right tool for it. Yeah, these kids nowadays don't know shit about the good shit. Yeah, it's too much of a lazy convenience today for kids, you know, because you got everything on a cell phone. The convenience of a cell phone where you can watch videos and movies, where you can listen to music, you can play games, you can draw, you can look up pictures, you could take selfies, you could take pictures. You got a camera, MP3 player, video player, beeper, cell phone, computer, all in one nowadays. But back in the day when we were in high school, okay, now I didn't have the convenience of having a cell phone in high school and shit. Yeah, if you haven't rewound a cassette tape with a number 2 pencil, you ain't lived. Oh my god, I can't tell you how many times I've had to do that. I've had a couple tapes where they would get eaten in the tape player. Now, a lot of the youngsters don't know what it means to have a cassette tape being eaten in the tape player. That's when, you know, the spool, the tape itself, the spool gets caught inside the device for whatever unknown reason. I don't know what the reasoning is for it. It happened all the time. It happened with VHS. It might have happened with Beta. It happened with 8-track tapes. It happened with cassette tapes. No matter what you were using or what you were listening to or watching, the spool of the tape just got caught inside the device, and you had to fish that shit out of there. And if you had a cassette tape that you're listening to, you had to take a number 2 pencil or a pen that had the same exact body shape, the hexagonal shape, and feed it into the spindle and twist it until the tape was returned back inside of itself. I can't tell you how many times I've had to do that. It's almost like the equivalent of somebody's CDs being scratched. Nowadays, you know, people would buy a CD buffer, and, you know, you can buff out the scratches. Then there's the old myth of people using toothpaste and something else to buff out the scratches and shit. And I'm like, I've tried it. I didn't really see any new difference in it. It was still scratched. I don't know why people thought that was a big thing. Now, with cassette tapes and such, you gotta think, when you save a cassette tape, I mean, even though the tape got eaten, it still plays well. It still plays very well. You just gotta be careful when you play it. You gotta keep watch to see if it gets caught up again, you know, within those spindles. Same thing with VHS tapes. Now, the one main occurrence that I had with a VHS tape, and this happened a couple times, is where I guess the rewinder in the VCR was just too overpowering for this one tape, where it just rewound the tape. and it pulled the other end of the tape off the other spool in a continuous loop. So we had to take the tape cassette apart and feed it around all the little spindles, you know, and on the top of the tape itself, and feed it through the other spindle and kind of finagle it in there. And then voila, we fixed the VHS cassette. So yeah, we had a pain in the ass with that back in the days. But yeah, everything was made more convenient, more easier today when it comes to technology. And as I'm approaching 40 myself, you know, I'm like, sometimes I guess I'm thankful that I'm living in an era where I can witness the evolution of the things that I have used and grown up with, to see how either much easier it's become or how much more difficult it's become, or just shows me that people of today's generation are just too damn lazy to do anything, really. That'd be like people of my generation, or probably the last generation, to even know what it is to work hard. Use your hands, do some yard work, go to work, you know, lift heavy things, do this and do that. Yeah, we're the last generation to do something like that, because this next generation of people, these kids that are going out of high school right now or in high school, they don't know. They want to work, they want a paycheck, but they don't want to do shit, because all they're doing is sitting around on their phones expecting to get paid. Well, that's not how shit works, Jack. Either you do the job or you don't do the job. You ain't gonna be there. You ain't gonna collect a fucking paycheck. God, like kids today, they just don't know. And I know some of us, you know, when we were kids, we looked at our parents, you know, like, you know, we looked at them like they had a third eye or something, you know. But then you get to the age that we are at now. Like, I'm 38 right now myself, and I can fully understand what my dad must have went through, what my mom must have went through, you know, raising my brothers and I as I was growing up, you know, just having to work hard and put food on the table, get us new clothes and stuff. Christmas time, there was always a good Christmas, you know, there was always a good Halloween or Thanksgiving. Birthdays are always good. You know, we didn't have no big spectacular birthday parties, but who cares, you know? Like, as long, I guess it was like, as long as somebody remembered our birthdays, you know, that was just a treat of that right there, you know? Like, you had kids that were spoiled, you have kids that they just got enough, and they were very appreciative with what they got. And I think I come from that generation where it's like, I feel like I'm spoiled, but I'm not too spoiled. Like, I could spoil myself. I'm an adult, but, you know, growing up, when you're a kid, when your parents ain't got much, you live with what you had, you know? That's all it was. And I think that's what it was for me. Like, I'm in a generation where it was enough to make me feel happy. My parents worked as hard as fuck, so do theirs. Yeah. And that's something that, you know, as we grow up, we can appreciate. We can come to appreciate and learn to do it ourselves. Like, I don't want to sit around and be lazy, you know. I mean, I don't mind doing a little bit of work. If I want to be lazy, shit, that's my off days, you know. I can sit around, do whatever, unless I got some kind of fucking yard work or whatever. I have no idea, you know, but I just think that this new generation, they're too soft. They're really too soft. And I feel like with my generation being the last great generation, we're not going to be able to teach these youngins a lot of things. I mean, there's some youngins out there, like you, Hoyt, you know, you still, you know, you're learning from the best. You know, you do what you can. You know, some of you guys are, you know, you got a good head on your shoulders. But you got kids right now that are in high school. There's some that are even in college. There are some kids in college that don't know what a woman is, don't know what a man is. You got some of these college girls that think abortion is the best thing in the world. We're like, oh, I got pregnant, no problem, I'll just kill the fucking kid. I've heard it all. I'm serious. I watched TikTok videos of Charlie Kirk. You know, he goes around campus to campus interviewing these college kids, and they literally tell them, some of them literally told them, and they're females too, and they'll tell them, oh, I can't wait to have another abortion. I love having abortions. Well, if you know, it's a hard mental and physical thing on your body, and it's a hard mental thing for somebody, you know, who the father is. Looks like we got a new follower on TikTok. Thank you very much for that follow over there on TikTok. Let's see who our new follower is. I'll give you a shout out here real quick if this thing happens to load, and I don't think it's going to load. Nah, there we go. All right, Jack Dory, thank you for the follow. Definitely big thank you on the follow right over there on TikTok. Yeah, I graduated high school 2 years ago. Thanks, sweet baby Jesus. And I tell you, man, and I had a neighbor tell me one time, and they were like, you're gonna miss school when you graduate. And I was like, no, I ain't. I can't wait till I'm out of school, you know? Because when you're in high school and you can't wait to get the hell out, you know, you want to get the hell away from there as far away as you can. You're tired of the teachers. You're tired of all the bullshit that you supposedly deal with. But let me tell you all something. High school is probably the best fucking thing in your life. It probably is. Because I tell you, I had my hardships in high school. I've had my hardships in middle school. I've met a lot of people. I've dealt with a lot of shit. Yes, it was hard. But I tell you, if I could go back and do it again, and I know it means doing all the schoolwork and concentrating and trying to keep my grades up and all. I understand that that's what it's going to take. I just think like the memories that I have in high school, you know, the people that I met, the cool friends that I had, you know, that's what I would probably like to relive if I could do it all over again. Because I had so many great memories from high school, and I know a lot of people do too. If I can go back and do that all over again, I definitely would. Because let me tell you something, people go through school and they say it's hard as hell. Elementary school, middle school, high school, it's hard as hell. It's hard as hell. I'll be glad when I'm out of school. Yeah, that's the easy part of life. It's getting you ready for the hard part of life. What you're going to do. What type of job or career you're going to have. What type of money you're going to be making. Pretty soon your parents are going to end up dead. Your brothers may end up dead. You know, everybody that you know in your life is going to die. Where are you going to live? What are you going to do? Are you going to live like some bum in the street? You know, are you going to be homeless? Are you going to be successful? Are you going to barely make it? Nobody knows. Your life is an oddball choice, basically, you know? So let me tell you all something. I've lost quite a few people in my life, you know? I've lost all my grandparents. I grew up with my grandparents, too, you know? I love my grandparents, you know? On my dad's side, my mom's side. I've had so many great memories with my grandparents, you know? Even around the holidays, you know, when it came to my birthday, I didn't really care. You know, I really didn't care. Like, you know, birthday was birthday, but I think like some of the best memories with my grandparents were around the holidays, especially around Thanksgiving or Christmas, you know? And to me, it wasn't like, let's say Christmas. It wasn't really about getting presents, you know. Presents, that's a given. That's a luxury. You know, receiving gifts at Christmas time, that's a luxury. That's a given. But to me, it's the memories that you make with your family and friends. That's what I love about the holiday season. That's why I'm glad summer is almost over. You know, Halloween is just around the corner. My favorite time of the year is October, Halloween. Then there's Thanksgiving. And then Christmas. Christmas always comes so fast, you know? Like the whole year just sluggishly comes around. And then when the last 3 months hit, it's just like a downhill slope. Everything just goes by in a fucking blur, you know? Christmas time. It's the music, the overall scenery, just everything about Christmas. You know, you can smell it in the air, the crisp, cool scent of Christmas in the air. It's not about the gifts. It's about making memories with your family and friends and then just enjoying the season. That's what I've grown to love. My paternal pap literally just passed unexpectedly. I'm sorry to hear about that, Hoyt. I'm sorry to hear about that, buddy. Trust me, I do know the feeling. It is hard. It really is. Like with me, when it comes to death, I take it a different way. Some people are different when it comes to death. Some people handle it better than others. It's just something. It's something odd, you know? I don't know what it is. But I feel like in these later years, when the holidays hit, that's when it hits you the hardest. And for me, it's the memories. It really is. Like, I'm glad to have, you know, pictures, you know, I'm glad to have videos and just other memories that I can share, you know? Because those are the best to have, you know, to remember, you know, it's around the holidays. My mom's dad, you know, my grandfather on her side, especially my grandmother, they loved decorating for Christmas. They loved Christmas. It was just all about making a home for Christmas, you know. They just love the season. And that's what I've grown to love, you know. I love it more than just the little commercial things, you know, like getting presents or something, you know. It's much more than that. Let me tell you all something about me with Christmas. To me, with Christmas, it's about the cold season, just bundling up with your coat, warm clothes, or a blanket. It's about listening to good Christmas music, good tunes that you've grown up with, that you can resonate with, that bring back a lot of memories. It's about watching Christmas classic cartoons or movies. Nowadays, for me, it's like, shit, looking on YouTube for classic Christmas commercials, you know? That kind of stuff. Or even the night of or after Thanksgiving when the Christmas tree goes up and all the ornaments and lights go on. Just sitting there in the glow of a Christmas tree in a living room, that's enough for me. You know? It's just something that I love doing every year. I really do. Even if my kids are around, you know, I love doing that. You know, just be like, hey, let's go sit up in the living room, watch TV with the Christmas tree lit up, you know? That's what I love about Christmas. It's not about buying gifts. It's not about receiving gifts. It's about the memories that you make with your family and friends, you know? Just those memories right there. That's what I love. My maternal pap, I never even got to know. Yeah, that is a sad thing sometimes when you hear so much about a family member that you would have loved to get to know or meet, and it was just too late. I know. I had a great uncle, my dad's uncle. He passed away unexpectedly 4 years ago. He just died. Nobody knew that there was something wrong with him. He just died. He was living down in Florida. They brought his ashes up here and we had him buried. We had the service up here. My dad's brother, his name was Gary. We all called him Buddy. I loved him. You know, he was one of my favorite uncles growing up. He got cancer a few years ago, and he died back in 2019 or 2020. A friend of my dad's, his name was Billy. He passed away back in 2018, 2019. That dude was funny as shit, let me tell you. Growing up, knowing him being my dad's childhood friend, I felt like he was a best friend to me too sometimes, you know? That's how awesome this guy was. Death is a motherfucker, I tell you. Death is a real motherfucker. And I think, yeah, he passed away a few years before I was born. So now both biological paps are gone. And that is sad too. I know, my daughter, she'll never get to meet my grandmothers. She met my one grandfather before he died. He died just a few years ago of dementia. My daughter got to meet him. She loved him. But she didn't get to meet everybody else. But I got pictures and I got stories that I could share with her now. I think that's one thing that when it comes to the internet, I think that's one thing that platforms like TikTok, they try to strive away from. It's death. They don't want to be associated with anything that affects people mentally, physically, whatever. But I tell you, like, stories like this, it's definitely that's something that people can resonate with. People can open up and share their feelings and their thoughts and their stories. And I think that's a good thing about social media, in a way, where as long as you don't put too much information out there, you can always share a story and see if there's somebody else out there that shares the same views or shares the same passion or just anything. I think that's one positive note about it that people can get along with. So, on that note, guys, I'm going to go ahead and take a break. We're almost an hour in. We're about 45 minutes in. I'm going to take a quick break. I want to come back. We're going to get more into the dangers of the internet. I'd like to thank you guys for the follows. I'd like to thank you guys for the shares. I thank you guys for being here and just listening out. You know? So hang tight. More to come. We'll be right back.
The Eagle Vision is the first sedan in the world with the auto stick system. Porsche offers their version in a coupe. This German engineer will compare.
Du kennst mich doch. Ich liebe schwarz.
So what do you think, Goose?
Also, was denkst du denn, Good?
Vision ist sehr gut. Meine Einfahrt war automatisch. Auto steht.
He likes the choice of automatic or auto stick. Excellent handling without a clutch.
What's he think of Vision's price?
Ach du meine Gute. Er ist screwed.
No, we get the message. Thank you.
Now get $1,500 cash back on Eagle Vision TSI.
The new reloadable smart card. The future is happening now down under and on its way here. From MasterCard, it's smart money.
Homer gets a new job as Mr. Burns' assistant
I think the bangs today.
on The Simpsons. Sunday at 8, 7 Central on Fox.
Coors Light, the silver bullet, is shipped cold to tap the clean taste of the Rockies.
Good boy.
This summer, when it gets really hot, Dunkin' Donuts suggests you cool off with a cup of coffee. Iced coffee, that is. It's the coolest thing around. It's Dunkin' Donuts' world-famous coffee brewed from our premium beans and served ice cold. It's very cool. Now at Dunkin' Donuts, get an insulated summer sipper filled with 32 ounces of Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee. It keeps things surprisingly cool.
Sunjet, shining brighter every day, presents this season's travel forecast. Clear skies and low fares on Sunjet. Call 1-800-4SUNJET and join the thousands who are saving hundreds of dollars on airfares. On Sunjet, you can fly from New York via Newark to Orlando from just $79. New York to Tampa St. Pete for just $79. And New York to Fort Lauderdale is also just $79. Seats are limited, so call 1-800-4SUNJET to reserve yours. Sunjet, we're shining brighter every day.
Recently, Jeep engineers made an amazing discovery.
We found it.
Yeah, the perfect way to improve our four-wheel drive system.
And one discovery led to another.
Wow. Our new suspension enhancements perform great out here.
The new Jeep Grand Cherokee, Four-Wheeler Magazine's Four-Wheeler of the Year.
Amazing.
The dual airbags?
Yeah.
Obviously, our engineers didn't miss a thing.
This is about how your business can build new profit centers without bulldozing your budget. About looking bigger than you are. This is about call centers, people, and technology that can capture new customers, answer questions, and process orders 24 hours a day. And it's not just for the rich, the powerful, or the daring. Because there's a way you can get the help, hardware, software, and advanced toll-free service to create your call center. All you have to know is how. Network MCI, that's how.
Hey, you're a guy, and guys want to stay cool. How do you do it? With new Speed Stick Gel, proven to keep you drier than any other gel. It's the best gel protection. New Speed Stick Gel, just for the guys.
Gib. Who fled? See how they run. Stole $25 million from the Cuban mafia. Kill him. See how they fly.
I don't want half. Half!
On July 19th...
Hey! These people are trying to kill you!
See how they... fled.
All right, half. That is it. We are even.
No.
Now we even.
Fled. Rated R. Starts Friday, July 19th.
And we're back. Almost into the second hour of today's show. Man, do I feel tired out. I'm just now getting to your comment here, Hoyt. Death is the most depressing part of life. Thankfully, my paternal pap is one of the only family deaths I've experienced, but it makes you realize it's not going to be the last one by the long shot. That is true. I worry about death almost every day, you know, and I know people will say, don't stride on it. Don't worry too much about death. It's going to happen. When it's your time, it's your time. And it's not really you that you worry about times, too. Those around you. Your close friends, your family members. It's a lot of people that you worry about. Yeah, because you grow up, when you're so young and you grow up around these people that you've known for so long, that you've come to know and love for so long. You know they're your family, you know they're your friends. And suddenly they're gone. And it hits you bad. My mom, she passed away back in 2016. Yeah, it was about 8 years ago. Right around when I started doing video content for YouTube, you know? And I think me doing video content for YouTube was one of the things that took the pressures of that off. Gave me something to do, gave me something to focus on. I wasn't trying to erase my mom's memory or anything, you know, it was just a coping mechanism, I guess you could say, which YouTube is something that greatly helped me with around the death of my mom. Yeah, I still miss her. You know, I miss her to this day. Let me tell you something. My mom, one thing I can tell you about my mom, she was a big movie freak. She loved her comedies, but she also loved thrillers. She loved action movies. She was probably just as big as a horror movie fan as I was. There were some horror movies that she could do without, depending on the gross factor or whatever, but you know, I tell you, like, every new movie that I see to this day, and I keep sitting there thinking, I just wish my mom was around so I could tell her, this was a really good movie. I know my mom would like this. Anybody seen the movie Bad Boys? Will Smith and Martin Lawrence? Oh, that was my mom's movie right there. She loved Bad Boys. She's seen Bad Boys 1 and 2. She would have definitely loved to see the last two Bad Boys movies. She would have loved those to death. I know she's probably watching them, you know, from another plane, you know. She's always here from another plane, you know. I do believe in that stuff. But I think that was just like this one little thing, you know. Like, I know, even my fiance, she said, I know me and your mom probably would have clashed at times. I'm like, well, maybe so, but I think she would have definitely liked you. She would definitely respected you. You know, my mom, she was almost kind of like a hard person to get along with at times, you know, but she was something else. And I do wish she was here at times, you know. Because I tell you, Hoyt, and anybody else who's listening, the hardest thing when it comes to death is dealing with those who are closest to you who are dying. And I can tell you all, the night that my mom died, she was in a vegetative state in a hospital bed. Sepsis has taken her life hard. She was in a hospital for about 7-8 months with sepsis. And just my family and I just huddled around her bed, saying our last goodbyes, tearful goodbyes. We were there for a good hour or so. Then we left. Maybe almost an hour after we left, that's when my phone rang and I got the call from the hospital, and one of the nurses said that she had just passed away. And I think that's one thing that she was holding on to, was to see us one last time. And I believe that's what it was. And people deal with death in different ways. You know, I even had to work that night. I was working nights. And my spouse at the time, she was like, you sure you don't want to take off from work? I was like, nah, I'm going to go in. I can't afford to take off, which I really couldn't. And I went in. And I was telling my coworkers, you know, what had happened. And they were like, why didn't you call out? We had it covered. We could have had you covered tonight. And I was like, yeah, true, but I wouldn't have gotten paid for this. And plus, it'll get my mind off of things, which it kind of did, you know. It kind of did. I mean, I did break down at one point, but, you know, everybody breaks down at some point when it comes to somebody closest to them who died. You know, like I said, as a friend, a close family member, it happens. Even if it's somebody who you say you don't get along with, or you may hate or dislike, there's always some kind of love, some kind of care deep inside for that person. And I will say, you know, to go along with today's topic, I know death wasn't really planned for it, but let me tell you something. The internet, with my hobbies on the internet, with YouTube, it was definitely a coping mechanism for me to take care of what I needed to take care of. So I'll be right back, guys.
This is for my grandfather, who always said I'd make the family proud. For my mom, who never let me out the door without my homework. For my dad, who worked the night shift to make our lives better. For myself, for my future.
The Eagle Vision is the first sedan in the world with the AutoStick system. Porsche offers their version in a coupe. This German engineer will compare.
Du kennst mich doch. Ich liebe schwarz.
So what do you think, Goose?
Also, was denkst du denn, Good?
Das ist sehr gut. Meine Einfahrt zum automatisch, Autostick.
He likes the choice of automatic or auto stick. Excellent handling without a clutch.
What's he think of Vision's price?
Ach du meine Güte. Herr Screwed.
No, we get the message. Thank you.
Now get $1,500 cash back on Eagle Vision TSI.
The new reloadable smart card. The future is happening now down under and on its way here. From MasterCard, it's smart money.
Homer gets a new job as Mr. Burns' assistant.
I think the bangs today.
On The Simpsons. Sunday at 8, 7 Central on Fox.
Coors Light.
Alright, and welcome back, everybody. So we got Hoyt. Who did you say, Hoyt? We weren't even expecting my paps. We got the call late Saturday night, 17th. That something was wrong with his heart. Then my dad called my gram and he was gone. Yeah, it's as fast as that, man. I know. I tell you. That's how it was on my end a couple times. But yeah, like I said, with the internet, when it came to, you know, like I said, when my mom passed, and I used the internet as a coping mechanism at the time, because I either had video games or I was just getting into YouTube, and that was all I wanted to do, was record videos and post them on YouTube. And I gained a little small following back in 2016, and rest was history. But also coming with that little bit of fame on the internet is the dangers of the internet, which is what I was stating earlier, was cyberbullying. Yep. Cyberbullying, which became a big thing back in 2014, 2015, 2016. And it was always something that hit channels of a small proportion. You know, YouTube is one of those platforms that allowed people to grow on there as content creators, share their stories, share their moments. But also when Google pretty much purchased it out, and people started making money on Google and YouTube, that's when it became a big thing. And then everybody wanted to get a little piece of that pie. So you would make a YouTube channel, you would upload some videos, you would gain a following, hopefully, and there was a process to it. You know, it took some people a little bit longer to do. Some people, you know, they just put that one video up there that got noticed by about 100 maybe 1,000 people, and then just like became viral, and next thing you know, you're a big hit sensation, you know? Whereas by today's standards, look at TikTok. You go live on TikTok or you post a video on TikTok and you know how to work the algorithm, putting tags in it. Next thing you know, you got videos that are getting hundreds, thousands of views on them. You're gaining followers left and right. And I think TikTok is one of those platforms that is easy to gain us some kind of following. But it's another one of those platforms that has a following of cyberbullies or trolls or people who just attack you for whatever reason. And I don't know what it is about people that do that. I don't know what it is about individuals who take it to the internet where they watch a video and they just hate the hell out of you for whatever reason. They hate the fuck out of you. They hate how you look. They hate your hair. They hate your clothes. They hate your hands. They say your fingernails are too long. They say your ass is too crusty. You look like your dick's not big enough. They just fucking hate you. That's how it is with the YouTube. That's how it is with TikTok and all these other fucking platforms. I don't know when the first cyberbully came out, but it's been an issue for so many years. You got people that open themselves up to the internet. You get too comfortable with being on the internet. It's almost as bad as identity theft. And then it becomes a thing of doxing. You got people who get your information one way or another, and then they dox your information. Hopefully, that's their way of harming you, right? No, it's not about identity theft anymore. It's not about getting your social security number or your credit card information. No, it's about hurting the person that they fucking hate because they cannot stand the sound of their voice. I mean, hell, do y'all remember back in the day, the late 90s, early 2000s, people were using MSN Messenger, AIM, Yahoo Messenger. They had all these different messaging apps from different platforms. People were using different emails. This was around a time when platforms like Napster came out. You know, people were downloading music and small videos, but it also had a chat room to it. Back in the days where we started doing ASL. Anybody remember what ASL was? Age, sex, location. Yes, I was a guilty party in that shit too, you know, back in the days of middle school, early high school, you know, like, you go into a fucking chat room and you see either a bunch of horny motherfuckers in there, or you got fucking undercover cops in there posing as 13-year-old girls looking for fucking 25-year-old guys with Ron Jeremy-sized dicks in there, you know, and it's like, oh, let's meet by the tree at the park at 3 o'clock. And then you get there, and it's like, hey, you'll be rubbing one off in the fucking cell later on, boy. Let me tell you. But that's how it fucking was back in the day. Those were the fucking dangers of the internet back in the day. You didn't know who to trust. You didn't know who to trust. You didn't know who you were fucking talking to. You got some girl or somebody who claims to be a girl in another country, in another state, who's like, oh, here's my picture. You can take a picture of any random fucking person. You can take a picture of your neighbor. You can look in your neighbor's window one day, take a picture of them posing nude or just getting dressed, and then, oh, here I am. Here's my fucking nudes right here for you. And they send it to you. And of course, everybody was so naive. They believed who the fuck they were talking to was what they said they were, you know? I'm a 41-year-old woman peeking. You know? Could have been a fucking 55-year-old woman with menopause who says she wanted Ron Jeremy's dick. You know? You never know. There was always a thing going on back then. But there was also a thing, you know, for online perverts and predators and such. That's how they met kids, you know? That was the open gateway. The dangers of the internet, right? When I ask, is the internet dangerous to society? This was one fucking way. Yes, pretty sure plenty of dumbasses still get catfished. Oh, I'm sure they fucking do. I'm really sure. Scott. Remember that guy? TCB, son. Of course, some people probably remember that one. TCB, son. That's what he called himself. He had some trolls catfish him back in 2016, 2018 on YouTube, right? They sent him pictures of these supermodels out of magazines and shit, and he would show them to my buddy Jeff, because he was buddies with Jeff at the time. He's like, man, look at this hot ass girl. And Jeff, he looked up that picture. He said, dude, don't do it. Don't go out there. That picture's on the internet. I can find it. No, I think it's legit, man. You know, I really do. I'm gonna go out there and meet her. He's like, don't fucking do it. You're gonna regret it. But what did this idiot do? He drove 3 hours out. This guy lives in Canada. He drove 3 hours out to meet a fucking woman that didn't exist in his inbox. He got catfished from hell. Not once, but twice. This guy was incredibly gullible. And I know I got a buddy too. I gotta say this. I got a buddy too. I know he don't listen to the show. I'm gonna put him out there. I'm not gonna say his name, but I got a buddy too. He lives in PA. It's not Jeff. He lives like maybe 2 or 3 hours from Jeff. Let me tell you, this guy, he did have a girlfriend recently, and then they broke up. You know, this girl, she was looking for. It's almost like they were polar opposites of each other, if you will. So he was with her for a year, but it didn't work out. I know the story. What a dum-dum. Yeah. TCB. But yeah, my buddy, he would hit me up. And he would say, man, this hot-ass chick just hit me up on Facebook. You know, we've been talking for a couple hours now. She sent me a picture of her. This is her profile. And he would send me the picture. And I would be like, well, let me ask you, did she ask this and this and that question? Because a lot of these spam... Okay, so looking at the dangers of the internet, okay? You got romance scams and sextortion, right? So I would call this a romance scam. And what it is, you get these fake accounts on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. They'll hit you up and they'll say, hey, how you doing? What's your name? My name is, where you from? That's cool. You know, and it's always something where it's an account that wants to build a relationship with you in some way. But then they're like, oh, do you think you can send me a few bucks for this or this and that, you know, or whatever? You know, it's always something to link your PayPal or your Cash App account to, right? Now, a lot of them don't even do that right away. They'll wait a little bit for that, you know? Now, in the era of AI, artificial intelligence, it's like, yeah, you don't know who the fuck to trust with that shit, right? So, my buddy... And I got him on this 3 or 4 occasions. And I'd be like, where's this person live? Oh, well, I think the most recent one lived in northern PA. Was like 2 or 3 hours away. And I was like, okay, are they supposed to come and meet you? Well, I was talking to her and she's supposed to come down and join me for a concert. He recently went to a concert for Godsmack and a couple other bands that were playing up near him. And he was going to get tickets for this mysterious person, right? This mysterious person, after 1 or 2 days, stopped talking to him. Now, granted, I understand that he can be a little insensitive in a way sometimes. And he could sit there and be like, well, I ain't heard back from her. I don't think I want to hear. Well, maybe she's working. Maybe she's busy. Maybe somebody died in her family. You got to give these people a chance. If this person is actually legit, you got to give them a chance to write you back. But then this person, you know, they wrote back once or twice. You know, they gave an explanation as to why they didn't respond back. And he was cool with it and all, right? So... he was going to buy this woman a ticket. She never materialized, never said anything, so he ended up going by himself, right? Now, this particular person, and he told me this, he said, she's already sent me nude pictures of her. This was day one, people. Who do you know, day one, that you meet on Facebook is going to send you titty pics? Not a single fucking woman is going to send you titty pics the very first day you talk to him. And I told his ass that. He's like, oh, you never know. Like, I don't know either. I don't know how many fucking women will send you fucking ass pics the day. Well, if it was the reversal, yeah. If it was the reversal, if you got one woman who's like, I'm single, and you got like 30 dick pics in the fucking inbox, you know? But here, it's like you got a guy who's just broke up with this girl, and I hate to say he's fucking desperate for pussy, but more to marry her to him. And he's talking to these fucking accounts on Facebook, and I called him out every single one. And I told him, just be careful, man. And I think the last two, he was like, I know what you're going to say. You can say it when I tell you. Don't ruin this for me. I'm like, okay, I'm just saying, no woman's gonna send you a fucking tit pic, you know, the first chat that you have, you know. They're not gonna be like, oh, look at me. Yeah, they're not gonna fucking do that shit to you. I swear, you know. So it came down to it. Out of all that, she stopped talking to him and all, and he come to me, he's like, you can say it. I was like, say what? You could say it. I know what you're going to say. Oh, you mean that she's not real? Okay. And he was like, why do fucking people do that? I don't know. I'm like, I don't know either, man. But I tried to fucking tell you. I tried to give you the warning signs for it, and you didn't want to listen. So I don't know if he's a little bit more cautious now with it or what, but I'm just like, yeah, it's like 2 or 3, maybe 4 fucking times. And I've told him, I said, did they say this? Did they say that? And I know, because I've had some of them fucking try to hit me up, and I'm like, you're a fucking bot, right? That's what I literally like. I'm like, you're a fucking bot. And be like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? I'm not a bot. What are you talking about? I'm like, and then I would ask a question, right? Just a random question that I would want a simple answer to. They would not give me a fucking answer to it. And I'm like, yeah, goodbye. You're a fucking bot. And that's what I told him. I'm like, you got to know how to call this shit out. And he did say, like, when I mentioned it for a couple of them, he did say, yeah, they did say something along those lines. And I was like, well, there you go. Well, I'm gonna see it out. I'm gonna see how it goes. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then it just ended up saying, oh yeah, you're right. Alrighty, Sanderson Stevenson, thank you for the follow. What's that over on? I don't know if that's on YouTube or what. I think it might be on YouTube. But yeah, definitely. Thank you for the follow right there, Sanderson Stevenson. I hope you guys are enjoying the show. But yeah, so my buddy, he was just something else. I just gotta say, like, you know, the whole romance scheme shit, it's real. It really is real. Social media is plaguing with a lot of these accounts. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, no matter where you go, they are plaguing. And these pictures, random pictures of these women, you can find them on the internet any fucking where. I'm pretty sure they've taken pictures from movies too. Maybe some fucking pornos. Maybe there is a picture that somebody if somebody will show me one from a random account, I could probably search through about 1,000 pornos and I could say, okay, this comes from the movie Sexcapades. It was a Skinamax movie. Remember back in the day where Cinemax was considered Skinamax after, what, 10:30 at night? You know, you had Skinamax. Showtime had their own share. HBO had, what was it? Taxi, sex, yeah, Red Shield Diaries. You had one where it's like cab confessions or something. I forgot what it was. You know, there was like, you know, the cab drivers would pick up these women and men. They would share their sexcapades and shit like that. The movie channel, you know, they had their own shit back in the day when, hey, I had cable, right? This was way before Verizon took over. Verizon or Comcast, we had straight cable from the county or the state. This is when you had the coaxial that came out the wall and plugged directly into your TV and shit. And you had televisions that had up to 100 channels, people, 100 channels. Not compared to today with Verizon or Comcast with the little boxes there that sit under your TVs that have like 1,000 to 2,000 channels. I'm talking about the little television you had that went up to 101 or 102, right? And our TV, our cable system, yes, we had porn channels. You had to subscribe to them. But there were some people out there that got lucky enough to have a descrambler for those channels. Or on a good night, like me back in middle school or high school, depending on the connection, where the scrambled channel would clear up for some fucking reason, and you can actually make out scenes from fucking, what you call it, Bale KSSI. Thank you for the follow over there on YouTube. Holy shit. Bale has joined the think tank. Thank you for the follow. But yeah, that was really something back in the day, guys. Yeah, Playboy channel for me was like channel 22. You turned to 22, you had scrambled titties, and sometimes they would clear up for a little bit with just a little static. We had that, and then you had the almighty Scrambled Spice channel, which was a little bit more hardcore than Playboy, but it was still softcore porn back in the day. That was the one where it was like, okay, with Playboy, you saw tits, you saw ass, maybe you saw bush. With Spice, you saw tits, you saw ass, you saw bush, you saw shaved. You still didn't see the man's pecker, but you've seen it, you know, as it was riding along. You didn't see that much, but yeah, those are kind of channels that we had back in the day. And nowadays, people are like, we don't need porn channels. We got Pornhub. We got this site, that site. Did I have MTV and Comedy Central? Yes, I did. I remember what channels they were. MTV was channel 54, and MTV was channel 56. I remember certain channels. 53 was the TV Guide channel. Everybody had a TV Guide channel, you know, where you sat there and it only displayed 3 or 4 blocks at a time, 3 or 4 lines at a time and shit. And it was scrolling through. It was a slow scroll. So if you missed what was on channel 2 by like ass hairs of a second, you would have to wait another 5 minutes for it to scroll through to either see what was coming on or what was on that channel, or just fucking say fuck it and just leave it sit there and wing it, you know? But yeah, MTV, we had that. 55 was the History Channel. 56 was Comedy Central. I can't remember what 57 was. I think 57 was a pay-per-view channel. That was another thing. Back in the day, those early cable stations, we had pay-per-view. And I forgot some of the pay-per-view different broadcastings. You know, it was Viewer's Choice. That's what it was. Where I was at, it was Viewer's Choice pay-per-view. And we had like, I don't know, 6 channels, 6 different channels for pay-per-view, and they always had previews for movies that were hot and coming, you know, that they had on pay-per-view. You know, that was before the days of Verizon Fios and shit like that. You know, like for Verizon, they'd be like, okay, you could pre-order this movie today. And they're like, well, you can watch that movie on pay-per-view. All you had to do was call the number, which affiliated with whatever channel you were watching it on, and it would add it to your phone bill. And then, of course, the movie would pop up on the screen. And I've watched many movies through pay-per-view at times. I've even had a couple marathons, which were pretty awesome. Like, the one marathon I had was for the James Bond flick, The World Is Not Enough. And it was an all-day thing. And I remember I was laying in my parents' bed. I was sick as a dog. And I wanted to see that movie. So I'm laying there in bed and I'm watching it the entire fucking day. Like, even if I fell asleep, I would wake up and catch the next following. You know, it was like a 24-hour thing. It would have been awesome watching Beavis and Butthead in South Park. Beavis and Butthead, oh shit, they ended that. They ended that back in, I want to say 99 or 2000. With the episode where they're like Beavis and Butthead are dead, but they weren't really dead. They just, you know, they got the call from the school and they're like, oh, Beavis and Butthead are absent? No, they're dead. Goodbye. Then they end up going to the fucking school where everybody's fucking cheering them on. They show up at the school and then there's the damn principal that has the heart attack and ends up dying. At South Park, I didn't really get into South Park until probably like, I don't know, sometime in the late high school years. That's about it. But I will say this, like when it came to certain channels, I even remember the movie channels, like channel 14 was Cinemax, 17 was Showtime, 18 was TNT, channel 19 was Home Shopping Network. I'm surprised we still got those around. Channel 20 in Maryland was like UPN 20. 21 was HBO, 22 was Playboy, 23 was another UPC channel. 24 I think was another UPN 24. 25 was PBS. 26 was Maryland Public Television. 27 was TNN, if anybody remembers TNN back in the day. 28 was A&E, 29 was FX, 30 was Nickelodeon, 31 was it CNN or Headline? It was like Headline News or something like that. I think it was CNN. I can't remember. 32 was another MPT channel. 33 was Disney. 34 was the Movie Channel. 35 was Hallmark. 36 was the Weather Channel. 37, I forgot. 38 was BET. 39 was the Learning Channel. 40 was AMC. I think 40 was AMC. I can't remember. How is it I remember TV stations from fucking 20 years ago, but I can't remember what the fuck I ate yesterday? It's like, what channel was channel 71 25 years ago for your cable? 71, that was Cartoon Network. 72 was Bravo. 73 was CMT. 74 was Turner Classic Movies. 75 was E! Entertainment. 76 was Court TV. 77 was TV Land. 78, I forgot what it was, but I remember watching it a couple times. But that was something else. I'm like, oh yeah, that was our channel. We had Millennium Cable. That's what it was called. Millennium Cable, Anne Arundel County, Maryland. That was back in the 90s. And then, of course, there was always something every 2 or 3 years where they would change a station where, you know, like one station lost its funding or something and they had to cancel that station out and replace it with something else. That was always a pain in the fucking ass. That's like if Nickelodeon had to change from station 30 to 42 or something, you know? And it's like, god damn, why? And then they replaced it with something else. Oh, by the way, VH1 was 41, Lifetime was 42. What was it? C-SPAN was 44 or 43. Then we had Fox 45. 46 was the Family Channel, which was also dubbed ABC Family, which is, I don't know what the fuck it is now. Freedom, yeah. 47 was the Sci-Fi Channel. 48 was another C-SPAN 2. 49 was Home and Garden. 50, I don't remember. 50, I think I got lost for it there. so many fucking channels. But that's what we had. We had like 100 channels. I remember most of them. Now, back in the heyday, when I was a junior, when I was a little midget, you know, I had a black and white 13-inch TV that my grandfather gave me. 13-inch. Can you try watching television on 13 inches today, people? Well, people are watching their phones. That motherfucking screen is 7 inches right there. A 7-inch screen. So I don't want to hear anybody say 13 inches. Wow, that was a small TV back then. Like, people are watching their fucking cell phones today. That's like a fraction of the size of a fucking 13-inch TV. That's half the fucking size. I had a fucking 13-inch black and white tube TV. And I ain't talking these flat screen thingamafucks, you know, that have the LEDs in them and all that gadgetry and shit, and the motherboard that blows up every fucking 5 years. No, we had a tube TV. Tube TVs, they lasted for a lifetime. And it was one of those that had those two knobs. You know, the first knob was like channels 2 through 12 or 13, and the other one was like 14 through 100. It was like, you know, you gotta turn them shit, UHF, VHF and shit. I don't think we had one. No, we didn't have one of those. We had a portable one, but it was plugged. Oh yeah. Yeah, the one we had, it was a little 5-inch color TV, and it had a radio to it, and it had the antenna. You could either plug it in or you put D batteries in it. Yeah, we had the luxury of putting D batteries in they only lasted like maybe 2 or 3 hours. You used to watch the Playhouse Disney morning block on Disney Channel when we was a little back in the 2000s. I never got into watching those. Like, any Disney show I watched was always on like UPN, you know, like the after school specials, like Bonkers, Darkwing Duck, yeah, the better ones, Gargoyles. all the good stuff. Like, when I came home from elementary school, I had a choice, people. We had a choice of what we watched, you know. It was either Nick in the Afternoon, you had Fox Kids, you had UPN. Like, nowadays, all you see is fucking court TV shit, you know. You watching Judge Judy in the afternoon. You know, back in the day, CBS, ABC, maybe NBC, whatever. Your moms were watching the soap operas, you know, Days of Our Lives. Well, they have People's Quarters nowadays too. Yeah, I forgot when that first came out. And then, of course, you know, Jerry Springer, he was always on CBS. You know, Mom and Dad were watching that during the day. And, you know, but when you came home, 3 o'clock rolled around, you had Fox Kids in the afternoon. You might have more from Power Rangers. You had Bobby's World, you had Goosebumps, Spider-Man, X-Men, all that fucking shit. You know, TV back in the 90s was the shit. Nowadays, you long for something like that, but if you turn on fucking YouTube, somebody's streaming it somewhere on YouTube, and it still makes me feel good. It makes me feel better than watching what the hell's on TV nowadays and all. Nowadays, it's just syndications or whatever, but you'd be lucky if you find those any goddamn where. But goddamn, when the fuck did I turn from fucking? Oh yeah, romance scams. Oh shit. I'm trying to think when I fucking got turned off track from the fucking topic. Oh shit. But yeah, let's talk a little bit more about the dangers of the internet. We got way off track talking about the nostalgia shit. We'll do that the next time we do another one of these. We'll talk about nostalgia. We'll do TV shows and shit. How about that? That'll be next week's topic for the show. But I'm gonna take a quick little break, get myself refreshed, guys. We're an hour and a half in. When I come back, we'll talk more about cyberbullying and how it's still affecting people today and how people are using it to weaponize society. So stay right here. We'll be right back.
Sunjet, we're shining brighter every day.
Recently, Jeep engineers made an amazing discovery.
We found it.
Yeah. The perfect way to improve our four-wheel drive system.
And one discovery led to another.
Wow. Our new suspension enhancements perform great out here.
The new Jeep Grand Cherokee, 4-Wheeler Magazine's 4-Wheeler of the Year.
Amazing.
The dual airbags?
Yeah.
Obviously, our engineers didn't miss a thing.
This This is about how your business can build new profit centers without bulldozing your budget. About looking bigger than you are. This is about call centers, people, and technology that can capture new customers, answer questions, and process orders 24 hours a day. And it's not just for the rich, the powerful, or the daring. Because there's a way you can get the help, hardware, software, and advanced toll-free service to create your call center. All you have to know is how. Network MCI, that's how.
Hey, you're a guy, and guys want to stay cool. How do you do it? With new Speed Stick Gel, proven to keep you drier than any other gel. It's the best gel protection. New Speed Stick Gel, just for the guys.
Gib. Who fled? See how they run. Stole $25 million from the Cuban Mafia. Kill him. See how they fly.
I don't want half.
On July 19th.
These people are trying to kill you.
See how they fled.
All right, half. That is it. We are even.
No.
Now we even.
Fled. Rated R. Starts Friday, July 19th.
Some people quit when they reach their threshold of pain. Some don't.
At Michelin, we believe a tire that's just good in the rain isn't good enough. Introducing the Michelin X1 with a 6-year, unlimited mileage tread life warranty. It gives you better wet traction than any rain tire and Michelin confidence in any driving condition. It has to, because the way we see it, you don't just cover a lot of miles, you cover a lot of weather. The Michelin X1.
And welcome back, everybody. Hour and a half into today's show, depending on what platform you guys are watching this on, TikTok, YouTube, Kick, or Twitch. If you guys are enjoying today's topic, enjoying today's show, hit that like, subscribe down below, hit that follow button, share it out with your friends, share it out with your family, share it out with your dogs, your cats. Oh yes, we gotta watch out for the dogs and cats now because Kamala's immigrants are eating them out there in Ohio. Yeah, y'all heard me right. I wasn't going to get political today, but I figure I'll bring that little tidbit in there. Yes, if you live out in Ohio, lock up your dogs, lock up your cats, watch the geese, watch the ducks. Don't mind the cow. Well, we got to watch the cows. We got to eat too. Because we got some illegal immigrants out there in Ohio that find it absolutely hilarious to be eating our pets now. So now we got to watch our backyards and make sure one of Kamala and Biden's immigrants ain't stealing your pets and turn them into lo chow mein. So there you go, guys. Today's show is sponsored by China Walk. Anyway, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. The nitty-gritty dirt band here. Okay. So we were talking about the romances, the bromances, the romance scams on social media that you guys see on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, any fucking way, which way you see. Fake websites. I see fake websites all the time on Facebook. Ones that post fake movie posters out there. Oh, guess what? There's another Godfather coming out, and they say it's going to have Marlon Brando. Marlon Brando died 30 fucking years ago, asshole. Really? I don't know. I think it has. See, now I gotta fucking research. Marlon Brando. Died, yes. Oh, no. 20 years. I'm off by 10. He died in 2004. There we go. What about Shitty Walk? Shitty Walk. There we go. The Geese of Ohio. Brought to you by Shitty Walk. But yeah, let's not false advertise. Okay, so somebody posted a poster on Facebook and said, The Godfather Part 4, starring Marlon Brando. He's been dead for 20 years, motherfucker. He has? When he died? 20 years ago. How long ago was that? You didn't fucking math in school, did you? That's when you got a 5 across the eyes for somebody who's very unintelligent and don't know math. That's what I'd say. But yeah, I see that shit all the time on Facebook. That's why when people ask me, when people say, hey, did you hear about this movie? Did you hear about that movie coming out? And I always research it. And I hate doing it, but I always have to debunk somebody, you know? I always have to debunk somebody on fucking movies and shit. And then they'd be like, no, it's out. It's coming out. No, it ain't. Somebody I know, and I don't mean to bring him up. I'm not trying to shit on you if you're listening. Was saying that there was going to be another Halloween movie, Halloween Aftermath or some shit, or Halloween Returns or whatever. And I'm like, it's going to be probably for a fan-made film. And a lot of people make fan-made films around Halloween or Friday the 13th or whatever. And he said, no, it's legit, man, it's legit. It's from Blumhouse. And they got a posting on IMDb for it. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is a fan film. There's a lot of them out there. Trust me, I look all this shit up. I make sure I research a lot of this stuff before I even go in at it. 2004 was your first full year. Oh, shit. There you go. You're, what, 20? Yeah, you're about 20. But yeah, recently, Jeff was posting that there was going to be another Goonies movie. And I was skeptical first about it. I had to research it too, like he did. But yeah, there is going to be another Goonies movie coming out 2020. It's supposed to start filming or go into production next year, so it's going to be a 2026 2027 release for it. So I'm like, okay, there's going to be another Goonies movie, you know, like 30, 35. I don't know when. I don't remember when the fucking Goonies came out, but, you know, it's over 30 years, over 35 years, so when that movie airs. But that's like with, okay, take for example, guys, Beetlejuice. Now, before I get into talking about that, if you guys have not seen my episode of CinemaCast, I did a review for Beetlejuice. It is on the YouTube channel, and it is on TikTok as well. If you guys want to check that out, you can feel free to do so right after today's show. So when they started talking about doing another Beetlejuice movie, and they started this whole rumor back in the early 2010s, and it was just floating around for about 5-6 years, and nothing ever came of it. You know, people were just sharing fake posters and shit. They were saying there's going to be another Beetlejuice movie, even though Tim Burton came out and said there's not going to be another one. Michael Keaton came out and said it. Winona Ryder came out and said it. There was not going to be another Beetlejuice movie at all. Stop floating the rumors around out there. But I guess it must have gotten too hot and heavy for them, you know, and I guess they were working on it for the last few years, and they finally say, okay, we're working on another Beetlejuice movie. Even Michael Keaton came out and said, the only way I will be in another Beetlejuice movie is if Tim Burton directs. And he got his wish. You know, him and Tim Burton, they've done quite a few movies together. They've done Batman, they've done Beetlejuice. I can't remember what else they've done, but they have a good chemistry of it. You know, they're friends, so that is respectable. You know, that somebody, you know, like how he'd like, you know what? As long as I'm working with this person, I'll do it. If they're not on board, I'm not on board. So he was on board. He did it, You know, the new Beetlejuice movie, they just had even Danny Elfman. You know, he is a master when it comes to movie scores. He did the score for this movie, just like he did in the first Beetlejuice movie. So there is a lot of throwback with this one. You know, a lot of familiar faces or a lot of familiar names are in this movie. So you guys will enjoy it. Like I said, if you guys want to see my review on that, review is on TikTok and it's on YouTube. You guys can check that out later on. But yeah, for so many years there was a fall poster for it. Same thing with Hocus Pocus 2. Hocus Pocus 2 was a big thing for like 15 years. The witch is back. Well, the witch ain't coming back because nobody's ever said anything about it. I've always looked at it. I've always researched it. Bette Miller never said anything. None of the other actresses said anything about another movie. But then, once again, I guess the hype train got up there and people were calling for it and they gave it to them. The only difference is Beetlejuice 2 got acclaimed praise, where Hocus Pocus 2 was a outhouse full of shit, so to say. And there was a lot of die-hard Hocus Pocus fans out there that were waiting for a sequel. And they got a big steaming pile of shit. And I'm just sitting there like, I wasn't going to watch it anyway, but it's comical that, hey, even the most die-hard fans of this movie are like, this movie fucking stinks. And I'm sitting here like, yeah, I knew that was going to happen. It was bound to happen, and it fucking happened. It did. So I was like, I'm happy with it. But I just will say, like, I'm pretty sure if I pull up Facebook right now, guys, and you ain't gonna see it on my end, but if I pull it up right now, I'm pretty sure, like, with the microphone, you know, because usually when you're talking on when you're with your phone around or whatever, you know, something happens. What is this? Xbox has reportedly been told to go dark today. Oh, layoffs at Microsoft. That's nothing new. Moving on. Let's see. Flickr Cinema. I don't even follow them. I don't even know who the fuck Flickr Cinema is. But they say, hey, look, Jensen Ackles will be Johnny Blaze in the new Ghost Rider reboot. Really? I'll have to research it. Yeah, just a lot of things like this I have to fucking research. Even like when it comes to people's deaths. You know, you guys know when people die, like famous actors and shit, and they'll start posting their deaths all over fucking social media, and then you're like, wait a minute, they didn't die. Oh, I thought they died. Somebody said they died. Yeah, false. That's why when you look on Twitter and something's trending about certain people, and you're like, they died? That's when I start questioning life, you know? I'm like, who the fuck would start posting this person died when they're still quite much alive, you know? So I'll have to go check their Wikipedia and shit and be like, oh yeah, they did die. Just like the most recent one, James Earl Jones. That hit people hard right there. You know, Mufasa, Darth Vader. Who was that? Oh, Jeffrey Jones, yeah. Yeah, for so many years I thought Jeffrey Jones, the child predator from Beetlejuice, was dead. Nope, he's very much alive. He's just still looking at little kids at bus stops and shit. Who knows? That's probably what he does. It's probably his fucking hobby and shit. But yeah, there's, you know, people who die. It's like, I gotta research everything because everything is fucking falsified on the internet. You know, fake websites, fake pages, fake everything. Everything is fucking fake on the internet. That's why I tell people, don't believe everything you see on the internet. Or if you're going to follow it or follow up with it, do some researching first. I always got to do that. You always got to do researching first when it comes to that. And then there's online scams. Oh, I can't tell you guys enough with the fucking online scams. You know, when people trying to sell shit online and they make it look legit. One of the biggest ones, and I fell for it, and I'll admit, you know, it was only like $5 I lost. It's only $5. it was a page on Facebook where they were like, we had a whole warehouse full of Epiphone guitars, and we're getting rid of them. You know, you can get your Epiphone guitar for free today, you know, that kind of thing. I was like, and I'm reading the comments. Some of the comments kind of look legit a little bit, so I was like, okay, let me sign up for it. You know, so I put my information down, and they wanted like $5. I'm like, fuck, it's $5. So I put $5 in, right? So it went through. They took $5 out. I never saw my Epiphone guitar. But then they were trying to say it was something else that they were going to send me. I forgot what it was, but you know what? They never sent the fucker to me. So I'm like, y'all only got $5 and I kept an eye on my account, made sure nothing else came out, which it didn't. It's just there's a lot of fucking sorry people out there that fell for it, and every time I look at it, I'm like, hey, what fucking guitar? That's like 10 years ago, somebody would post on Facebook these advertisements, cigarettes for free, cartons of cigarettes for free for life or for a year. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you want your soul for a year for a carton of cigarettes. I worked with somebody who was a smoker, and she was showing that. I was like, it's a fake. What? No shit. And I'm like, yeah, it's a fake. Ah, god damn, I was getting ready to sign up for it. I could have had free cigarettes for life. Cigarettes are going to be free in this fucking lifetime. Jesus Christ. But people do fall for online scams, and I don't blame them, because sometimes that shit can seem legit unless you actually have a keen eye to say, yeah, this shit is bogus as hell. You know, this is more fucking bogus than Michael Keaton's hair in Beetlejuice. You know? But yeah, there's still a lot of scams going on online, you know, that people do fall for. Let's see. Sextortion. I guess it's just extortion for sex. I don't know. Human trafficking, that kind of thing is, you know, people are, you know, purchasing humans for sexual acts online. I guess that's what sextortion is. I don't fucking know. Go on the dark web for that. Then you got online predators, and there's so many of them. People, have you all noticed lately that there is just so many pedophiles lurking in the depths of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, even on your kids' TikToks? That's why I worry about my kids' TikTok. We allow them to be on TikTok, yes, but then I'm like, you gotta watch out for certain people. You know, they're looking at these videos. You probably got some pervs out there jerking off to the shit. I don't fucking know. There's different ways of pedophiles are targeting kids. Yeah, they are fucking targeting kids left and right. Oh, wait a minute, mate. What was that fucking word? That fucking that name for pedophiles that one teacher had? Oh god, what the fuck? It was minor attracted persons. That's right. They're fucking MAPs. Fuck them MAPs. They're pedophiles. I think that's sickening right there. When teachers, they're teaching kids, we don't want to call them perverts. That's a bad name. Don't call them pedophiles. We will address them as minor attracted persons. You know what that teacher deserves? She deserves 10 across the fucking eyes. That's 2 backhand slaps for her. That's when you ask a bitch to make you a sandwich and you gotta tell her twice. That's what they fucking deserve right there. Like, let one of the teachers tell either of my kids to refer to them as minor attracted persons. I'll go up to the school with a fucking dictionary in hand and I'll be like, hey, which side you want it, left or right? It ain't gonna be no fucking backhand. It's gonna be the fucking book. It's gonna be the fucking phone book. Y'all remember those from back in the day? The phone books, the yellow pages. Them motherfuckers were like goddamn 5 inches thick. Man, you go fucking wallop a motherfucker in the face with one of those. That's what I would do. You know, any teachers tell any of my kids to call a pedophile a minor attracted person, I'm going to the fucking school with my fucking phone book in hand. Which one of you bitches said it? You got a problem with that? Yeah. Which side you want it, left or right? and they're gonna get a hell of a fucking wallop from me. That's how I treat people who sit there and they fucking glamify pedophiles. It's fucking sickening, man. And that's what the LGBT community supports. Well, that's what they want to fucking support. They want to make pedophilia so fucking mainstream, very mainstream. I don't know when I seen that one, Hoyt. That teacher should have had the internet history checked. Yes, they really should have. God damn. But yeah, child predators, they have been a thing since the early days of the internet. Like I said earlier, chat rooms. They've lurked in chat rooms. Today they lurk in the bowels of TikTok and Twitter and Facebook and everything. You got kids today that are putting half-naked pictures of themselves on Facebook, you know, wearing the short top, the short shorts and shit. You know, their hair all colored up and shit like that. Yeah, look at me. Yeah, and then you get home and dad's beating your ass with a goddamn switch. Take that shit off the fucking internet. And then, of course, you know, you got the kids that are like, I'll call CPS on you. I'm like, when I was your fucking age, if I did something, my daddy said, get the belt. Yeah. Or my dad's case, he always said that his grandpappy looked at him and said, go outside and get the biggest switch on the tree. Nowadays, it's like, even if you take a phone away from a kid, that's abuse. I hate you. You're a piece of shit. I hate you. I wish you were fucking dead. That's what I look at him and say. You want to say them words one more time for me? Because I got me a fucking wooden Louisville Slugger next to my refrigerator. I'll use it on a motherfucker. Nah. See, people will look at fucking punishments today. They'll look at discipline today and be like, that's child abuse. You're abusing your child. Like, well, it's abuse if you see a bruise or a cut on their ass. It's discipline when they fucking talk back to me the way they do. And I look at him and say, your ass is grass, boy. Oh, shit. But what else was there? Let's see. Online predators, fake websites. Let's talk about cyberbullying for a little bit. Let's close off with cyberbullying. Yeah. Cyberbullying, people. It's become the biggest thing of the internet within the last decade or so. Was cyberbullying. And I'm going to bring up a topic, and I know somebody from my past has said, I always talked about this person. I was always obsessed with this person named Edward Hubbard. Ugh. I was always so obsessed with him. I always talked about him in every fucking show. Yeah. But yeah, this was a guy back in 2016. Even before that, this was a guy who was going around attacking people on the internet. He was attacking people through YouTube, attacking people through Twitter, Facebook, whatever. This was a guy who considered himself part of a anti-bullying campaign. I think they were called United Together We Take a Stand Against Bullying or something like that. It was headed by somebody who called himself Bud Collier. I want to say the last name was Collier or Collier. It was one of those. But my boy Jeff, he made a call to him back in 2017. And because the guy's phone number was made public. So Jeff, on his show, he was like, I'm going to call this guy and ask him about Edward Hubbard. And he did. And that guy was like, I don't want to hear anything about that motherfucker anymore. We threw him out of the fucking organization. And he was like, why? What happened? He was bullying people. You had somebody in an anti-bullying organization, and he's out there bullying people on the internet and all kind of shit. So it amazes me that people, in a way, well, this guy, he's mentally fucking retarded. He's just downright mentally retarded. He's a retard from all kind of hell, you know. But his anti-bullying schemes always backfired on him, because he had a slew of people going after him. And then he would cry wolf and say that he was being cyberbullied and stuff. He was always bullied and shit. And yet the guy that ran the organization wanted nothing to do with him. Yeah, that's what he said. He said, I want nothing to do with that idiot. I don't want to hear his name ever again. All because he did nothing but fucking bully people online. And that's not what they were about. That whole organization, they wanted nothing to do.
Oh my god.
Holy shit. I gotta clip that later. Well, yeah, they wanted nothing to do with that bitch Hubbard. Oh god. But yeah, he continued to bully and bully and bully. And then when people fought back, and he would cry, these people think it okay to bully people and stuff, even though he is subtly referencing him. You know, he'll talk about everybody that's being bullied. They think it's okay to bully people. They think it's okay to do this to other people. No, you were best burp you ever heard. Oh, don't worry, I'm clipping that one after the stream. But yeah, he would just bully and bully and bully, and that became a big thing for people. Not just Hubbard, you know, in himself, but there was other people all over the internet, and they still do it to this day. Cyberbullying has been a thing for the last 20-some years with the internet. And it's like, I go all the way back to the beginning where I was saying, no matter what popularity you are on the internet, what your status is, if you're famous, if you're not famous, if you're just somebody who's on the internet and says, hey, look at me, I put a video of my dog dancing, you know? You're going to have somebody who's going to hate you no matter what the fuck you look like, no matter what you sound like, no matter how you smell, how you look, whatever. They're going to hate the fuck out of you. And it always leads to some masked unknown who's going to sit behind a keyboard, and they were dubbed the keyboard warriors, or in Hubbard's case, the keyboard heroes. That's a new one for you, Hoyt. Yes, recently Hubbard called somebody the keyboard hero. It's not keyboard warriors anymore, it's keyboard heroes. But you got people that will sit there and they can type the most ignorant, degenerate things on the internet. Yeah, they even hate you for your poor dog. Yeah, they'll hate anything. That's their way of getting what they call their 15 minutes of fame. It's usually something that's, you know, you see in movies, you know, where the serial killer wants to be famous for killing a group of teenagers, and then they reveal who it is, and he's like, yeah, I killed them all. That's about 15 minutes of fame. That's what these people look for. You got somebody who's heavily popular on a platform. Let's say TikTok, you know, because TikTok, it's very easy for people to be popular, to have some kind of popularity on TikTok, because TikTok, their algorithm is a little bit more different than what YouTube is. Now, when it comes to YouTube, whenever I do these shows, whenever I post videos, and I've always mentioned it to my counterpart that I used to stream with, I always told them, I know how to work the algorithm. If you want to get your streams, your shows, you want to get your content out there a little bit more easier and better, get it in the lineup where people can see it, you got to know how to work the algorithm. If you can't advertise it to where people can't see it, work it in the algorithm. And TikTok has a very different algorithm system where you put different tags in there, and boom, your video is placed in a cycle, and it gets picked up in the cycle. I've had videos I posted on TikTok that are up in the hundreds, couple of them in the thousands, because I know how to work the algorithm of things. And that's how people become popular. When you put something in there, it becomes viral, you start gaining an audience, you start gaining that popularity. And then you got people out there that are doing this, and they're fucking jealous of you. They don't know how to do shit like this, or maybe they're just plain hateful. Or as Edward Hubbard once said, their lives must suck so bad that they gotta bully people, okay, sir? And that's what he always said, and actually, he was fucking right. You got people out there who have so much negativity in their lives. Maybe they were beaten as a child. Maybe daddy pulled their pants down and fucked them in the ass and made them humble a couple times when they were like 8 or 9 years old. I don't fucking know. Maybe their fucking mommies, you know, cut their toenails and made them eat them like fucking Captain Crunch. Who the fuck knows? Last tune in the stream is when we somehow triggered that dude's wife. That was awesome too. But yeah, it's people like that. It's like their lives. They have nothing going on in their lives to where they feel like, I'm bored. I have the need to troll somebody or pick on somebody or call somebody a big bitch on internet or whatever. But you got to look at it like this. When you're trying to cyberbully adults, we look at it, laugh, and then block. Kids nowadays, however, they take things a little bit more to heart. So if you're somebody out there, you know, you're bullying people, you're bullying kids, like a child, you know, a fucking 7-year-old who likes putting their cat videos on TikTok and post a video of them singing, and you got some adults sitting there saying, "Hey kid, you suck. You need to get some fucking talent. You need to get your ass shoved back up in your mom's twat. You stink." Yeah, you know, do you think a 7-year-old's going to understand what a twat is? Do you think a 7-year-old's going to sit there and just look at that comment? I mean, if they knew how to read, you know, it would hurt them probably. I don't fucking know. I mean, I'm pretty sure if somebody said, "Hey kid, you suck," yeah, that might hurt them a little bit, you know, if they take it to heart, you know, like. But they're just people that they just go the limit when it comes to bullying people, when it comes to bashing people online. And I was watching a video at work this morning, and it just gave me the idea of talking about this in a way, you know, the dangers of the internet. Thankfully, I never had any school bullies. I didn't have any either. Shit, I kept to myself. I had my group of friends that I clung around with, and that was that. Whenever I got to class, I was always quiet. I was cooperative, whatever. And yeah. But I will say, like, what brought up the topic for today, which makes the internet dangerous to society, it's not just about the other things that I've covered today, but it's about how the internet can be used to weaponize or be weaponized by certain people. And one of the biggest things to weaponize it with is social media. Because if you're not careful enough, if you put your information out there in a certain way, people can find out where you live, they can find out all your information, and they can use that against you. I was recently watching a video, y'all. Hoyt, I know you know this guy. He calls himself Papa Grizz on YouTube. I can't tell you how many times this guy has been put through the ringer over the last 7-8 years when it came to people bullying him and bullying his family. This one family, him, his wife, and his kids, and his dog out in Sydney, Ohio. I mean, yeah, I'm saying Sydney, Ohio because, well, his actual address has been put out there many a times. Everybody knows he lives in Sydney, Ohio, but I'm not going to say exactly where he lives. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe his dog got eaten. I don't fucking know. Maybe he was one of the dogless victims. Who knows? But this guy, he has a 2-part stream that he did where this guy from Massachusetts who just something severely mentally wrong with this guy. And he decided to target Papa Grizz. And he targeted him hard to the point where he sent him pubic hairs in the mail. Then at one point, I don't know where he got the money for it, he sent this guy dildos in the mail that were directed toward his daughters who have Down syndrome. And then this guy, and of course later on in the aftermath of this, he denied this claim, but everybody knows he was the one who did it, decides to have this guy and his family swatted. And that stream is still up on YouTube, where the first half of the stream, he's going about with his business, you know, he's chatting online, and then somebody keeps calling his house phone, and the next thing you know, he's getting calls from his local police department, and he thinks it's all a joke, he thinks it's a hoax, and he hangs up. And then the second time that they call, he realizes that it's actual police. And then you see the lights coming through the windows and the knocking on the door, and he's sitting there on the phone with the dispatcher. Yeah, there's a cop at my door, he's got a gun, I've been swatted. So, you know, he's going through that whole ordeal, and then he comes back online after the cops leave, and he's explaining that, yeah, I was just swatted. They said that somebody called them saying that they were me, and then somebody was in danger in my house and all that, this and that. You know, and they had his fucking daughters in tears. You know, his daughters have Down syndrome. They're fucking teenagers. Well, I think they're grown now, but can you imagine that? Like, somebody who's states away, who's targeting an innocent family somewhere else because he didn't like him. He didn't like his family. He thought his family looked retarded as shit. Yes, his kids, they have a mental retardation, Down syndrome, yes. But that's what this guy did. He targeted this family. He sent them shit in the mail. He had them swatted. He doesn't realize that swatting means, depending on the nature of the call, if they got a call saying that there was somebody in the house with a gun to this kid's head, these motherfuckers would have came in guns blazing, killed the entire family, and be like, we fucked up. Where's this gunman at? It has happened before, people. Years ago, there was an incident where there was these two idiots over PlayStation or Xbox or whatever who was sending each other, it was like, oh, send me your address, I'll come beat your ass or whatever. So one of them ended up sending an address, and then the guy that was the recipient took the address, gave it to somebody, and said, here, do something with it. So they had the guy swatted. So I think they got the address wrong, and then there was just a random house where the police showed up at. Nothing was going on. They knocked on the door. Guy answered it. Something happened, and they shot them. They shot the father. The police shot the father. It was all an accident and all, but I would have been fucking mad pissed. I would have sued the goddamn police department. I would have sued the goddamn county and the state. Even if they said it was an honest mistake. No, it ain't no honest fucking mistake. Nope, they never do. Yeah, don't really get why he was fucked with just because he scammed some people or something. They say he scammed. That was like a whole other thing and all. But it's like, whether he scammed people for like money or whatever, but still, you know, his family didn't deserve that type of treatment from some idiot in a whole other state. Now, when it comes to swatting, you would think, okay, the police should get with the FBI or CIA or whatever, trace them down, have them arrested, charged, and jailed. Everybody knew who it was because that person was stating online, hey, it would be fun or it would be hilarious to me if Papa Grizz got swatted, and then here it is a day or so later, oh, he gets swatted, right? But then he tries to play roleplay. He tries to play damage control and go and suck Grizz's ass and say, it wasn't me, I swear to God it wasn't me. So now you got this old man who's already senile in some ways, who's like, okay, I'm not saying it was you, I don't know who did it, da-da-da-da. And you know what, guys? I don't even think the police ever even looked into the matter. I don't think the police were ever even looked into the fucking matter at all. And that is sad. That all this would happen. All because one guy absolutely hated this big motherfucker out in Ohio. All because he hated him. And that is the dangers of the internet. When you got people that are bullying you just for the way you look, the way you talk, everything. It almost comes down to either they're completely fucked in the head and their lives completely suck for whatever reason, or it could be the fact that, who knows? But a lot of this gets taken out of context. And it leads to the worst of the worst. People end up getting hurt. People end up dead. You know, people take the internet too goddamn seriously with this shit. Doxing. That's another thing that gets weaponized a lot here lately too. There are ways of getting your personal information. There's ways. Just like there's ways of getting your IP address. And there's videos of it on YouTube as well. People have learned the secrets of how to obtain somebody's IP address. And it's all done with the internet. All you gotta do is send somebody a fucking link to click on. They click on it, comes back to you, boom, you could trace it. Okay, this person lives in Philadelphia, PA. You're not going to narrow down exactly where their actual address is, but something can happen. It always does and always will. It's amazing how people will use the internet in a lot of ways to create some kind of chaos all over the nation or all over the world. And the worst thing about it is, depending on where it's at, you will never, ever be able to get the proper help to take care of it. If you live in California and somebody's attacking you from Florida, your local police department in California has no jurisdiction. They'll just tell you, disconnect your internet, block them, do this, do that. See, when I was getting attacked myself back in 2016, I was told the same thing. Ignore them. Unplug your phone jack if they keep calling you. Don't respond to them. And you know what? At first, it didn't even work. Yeah, it's a blessing and a goddamn curse. Yes, the internet is. But it never works. Because you got people out there that will constantly attack you and attack you for the fall of mankind. That's what it's going to be. The internet's going to be the fall of mankind. Because we use the internet in everyday means. Whether it be the movies we watch, to the music we listen to, the video games that we play, the books that we read. We need the internet for our everyday jobs. Internet is needed in schools. The way we look at it, people, the internet is needed every single where. Yes, it's going to be the death of humanity. Yes, it is. Because I will tell you, like, as spoiled as us millennials are, yes, we may hurt if the internet goes away or if the electric goes away or whatever. While our elders look at us and be like, you know what, we're going Amish. A lot of the old school Amish people still live by candlelight. They'll be sitting there laughing their asses off me like, y'all can't live without electric. We're still taking baths. We're still traveling by horseback, but we're getting from place to place. We're growing our own crops, making our own food. We're churning our own butter while y'all are killing each other because you lost electric and you lost the internet. But sad as it is to say, like, even though there are people that know how to survive like the Amish do, not a lot of people are going to make it. You know, they say like the fall of mankind, you know, like it relies on energy resources, it relies on the internet. And right now we're in the darkest days of it, where the internet is being weaponized by the very people that use it. And that's what makes the internet a danger to society. It's not just about identity thefts. Identity thefts have been such a big thing since the 90s. Same thing with data breaches. There's data breaches every single day. Banks are being breached. A lot of businesses are being breached. Video game companies are being breached with DDoS attacks. It happens every day. It happens every single week, and we're so used to it. But along with those data breaches, your information is at risk. So it's like you gotta wipe your browser history, you gotta clear all your information off the computer, but then you can't pay your bills. You can't pay your bills, you can't access your bank account information. You can't do this, you can't do that. Because let me tell you all something, Netflix, they're not gonna take a check by mail. Oh no. I know people out there are still using checks, but you can't pay Hulu with a check. You can't pay Disney Plus with a check. You can't write a fucking physical check out in the name of Disney Plus. $19.99 a month, or however much they fucking charge you for that goddamn service. You know, that's how it is. Malware and viruses, they're made up by anybody. Anybody can make a fucking virus or malware. All that stuff ends up phishing and scam emails. That's where the viruses and malware ends up at. You either go to a website that is full of them, or you get scam emails. You open an email and your computer's infected with the nastiest virus known to man. Same thing with your cell phones. If you open up that text message, guess what? There goes all your information. Or your phone's going to be infected right there too. So like I said earlier, your cell phone is just a mini computer. Fake websites, online scams, cyberbullying, all that stuff. When you look at it, everything is a big risk and it's a big danger to society when it comes to the internet. It all is. And it's all being weaponized by people that use it today. So anyway, guys, it's been 2 hours and 18 minutes here on today's show. I can already see that I've pissed off somebody over at TikTok by what I said. Ooh, still live though. So for you guys over there at TikTok, if you guys are watching, if you guys are listening, I'd like to thank you guys for being a listener today for today's show. Thank you to our new follower over there on TikTok, and thank you to a couple new followers over on YouTube as well. Guys, if you like today's broadcast, if you guys like today's show, if you like our streams and our content, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below. If you guys are on Kick, if you guys are on Twitch, hit that follow button. Links down below will take you to everything that we have known to man. If you guys want to check out our merch store, we have 2 merch store links down below. You guys can check out. If you want to buy a shirt, if you guys want to buy a hat, whatever, we got them down below. If you guys want to check us out on Discord for updates on future streams and such, link for our Discord is down below as well. You can also find us on social media, on Instagram and on Twitter. Links down below for those as well. So anyway, guys, thank you for today. Thank you for joining me today for today's stream. There will be a video upload tomorrow on YouTube, Twitch, and if TikTok doesn't take it down for whatever reason, it will be up here on TikTok as well. Anyway, guys, once again, thank you for joining me today for today's podcast show. Hope to see you next time. And until then, stay tuned in.
What we do here is go back.